right, so this is 4B on sequence 1. And it says A of 5 is 17 and A of 15 is 77. Write a rule and then use that rule to find the 25th term. All right, so once again, let's start by writing our formula. AN is A1 plus N minus 1 times D. And the first thing we want to do is write a rule. So to write a rule, I need to know what A1 and I need to know what D is. Well, unfortunately, I don't know either one in this case. But remember, this is just like a little piece of the whole sequence. So like it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This would be 17, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Here would be 77. That's kind of what we are looking at. So I'm going to say, well, let's just pretend that this is my sequence right here. In which case I'm going to use this as A1 and this is AN. If I can do that, then I can go ahead and find D. Well, if I start at 15 and I go to 5, or I start at 5 and go to 15, 15 minus 5 is 10. But remember, that is actually giving you the number of differences. That's actually giving you N minus 1, which is fine because that's what I want to know. But if you wanted just N, you'd have to add 1 to that because there's actually 11 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 numbers. So just remember when you're subtracting, it's always going to give you the difference. It's going to give you how many times you jump from one number to the other. So in any case, now we know N minus 1 is 10. So let's plug in what we know. So AN is 77 equals, well, A1 we've said is 17. We just determined that N minus 1 is 10, and it's D that we don't know. So this is a 17, doesn't look very good. So let's go ahead and subtract 17 from both sides, and I'll get 60 equals 10D. So now I know that D is 6. All right, so now I know that D is 6. I can add that up here. D is 6. All right. Well, now let's get rid of this little blue thing here. So now I need to find out what A1 is. So I really want to find out what this is. And once again, I can either use this little piece of the sequence to figure that out, or I can use the whole thing. It doesn't really matter. I like my numbers to be smaller, so I'm going to use this as my little piece of my sequence. So in this case, now I know my AN is 17. A1 is what I don't know. It's my variable. Well, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers here. So I've got 5 numbers there. N minus 1 would be 4. And we already determined that our D is 6. So now I'm going to get 17 equals A1 plus 24. All right, so now I'm going to subtract 24. And I'm going to get a negative 9. So now, if I wanted to write my rule, oops, sorry, 1 second. Oops, I'm sorry, this is negative 7. So now if I wanted to write my rule, I'm going to plug this back into my formula. AN, A1 we determined is negative 7, plus N minus 1, and my D value here is, oops, up here is 6. Let's go ahead and simplify this rule. AN equals negative 7 plus 6N minus 6. Negative 7 and negative 6 would be a negative 13. Whoops, negative 13 plus 6N. So there's my rule. Then the next thing it says, well, what about the 25th term? So what they're saying is if N is 25, what is AN? So let's go ahead and plug that in. Negative 13 plus 6 times 25. So we just have 6 times 25 minus 13, and you're going to get 137. So now you know that AN is 137, and this is the rule.